Hello, mayors. Hello, mayoresses. How are you all doing? I hope you're well. We're here to start another episode of this vanilla series where everything is very calm. Everything is very peaceful. The streets are busy and people are out and about. And I want to start, of course, by asking for your like here at the beginning of the video. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and check your subscription. Sometimes you think you are, but you're not, right? A lot of people have already mentioned this to me, and if you have the option to hype, I would really appreciate it if you could leave that hype here on this video. All right, and good. Let's go in here into the most historic regions of our island, where it all began. Look at this alley. It's so European, right? Well, a city like this, Mediterranean, even Italian, it really reminds you a lot of that. And the cool thing is that there are a lot of people riding bikes. We're really encouraging cycling here on the island. And look, there are scooters too, and it's really busy, really lively. I really like seeing cities like this, so let's go. Let's keep going. Well, our downtown is right here, see? Ready to be expanded? But I think we'll have more demand if we pay attention to employment issues, both industrial and office demand. So I was thinking about reserving a few blocks. Maybe this one in the corner, right at the edge of the beach. Here, to have a block of fort more modern, right? Open this area up for modern buildings and maybe this other part here too, right? It would look really cool. So I think an office building would be good here, but that's what I wanted. High density, we don't have that yet. We need to reach milestone 10. We're currently at 7, so I think I'll wait a little bit. But we can put high density residential. And here we have, shoot, for now, only the affordable rental ones, right? The skyscrapers I want will have to wait until later. But the commercial zones, right? We have demand. We can put them here in this area. This is a bit complicated, isn't it? When our aesthetic and landscaping requirements go against the demands, and also against what we've already approved, right? We make plans, but when it's time to act, we realize it must wait. Shall we move on to industry? There's no secret about industry. We need to have more industry here on the island. And if we look here at our beach area, I was taking a look and there are products that are doing really well. We're even exporting, right? We're exporting a little bit of wheat. Most of it is for internal consumption, but we're exporting a little bit of wheat. The cattle sector as well, we're exporting a lot. We export about 43 tons and 18 tons are for internal consumption, right? 9 becomes processed food here, and actually 7 becomes processed food and 7 becomes textiles, right? We're exporting a lot of vegetables. There's no internal consumption of vegetables here on the island, so I think there's no need to do this kind of planting anymore. But we really need to bring in a lot of oil from outside, okay? The biggest demand here for raw materials is oil. We don't produce anything because we really need a lot of petrochemicals and a lot of chemicals in general. So maybe we should start exploring this kind of industry here and leave the farms aside for a bit, right? Since we saw that everything here is working out well. Well, there's a little piece missing here, look, because there was an extension of the school here that I turned, right? I moved it over here and then it was missing. I'll finish it here before we do anything else, okay? 6 buildings were built here and they've already met the demand. So, man, looking here, how are our spaces on the island doing? I think we had a really good initial use. Everything here fits together nicely. But look, the natural resources are really well spread out across the map. I think the map does a great job with that. But what about the oil? We have 3 big deposits, right? There's one here, there's another one here, and there's one here too. My issue with this, on such a beautiful island, is that everywhere to me looks like a tourist spot. For example, here, this little secondary island, it looks really touristy. And then I feel bad about building a heavy industry, like oil exploration, in such a beautiful landscape like this. Look at these reefs here. Look at the color of this water, man. And over here, it's the same. Here, we have a small cluster, an archipelago, groups of islands that have oil. But it seems very well made and very beautiful to be devastated, right? I think the most normal spot would be this one here, all right? Here there's an oil stain and I wanted to explore it here with you. It's pretty far, that's true, but we can start making our way there by buying more regions here on the map. I might have to buy maybe these 4, and it still won't reach the oil region, right? Which is here. But we can start opening up a path. And until we get there, we can set up some generic industries. My idea, unlike Bahia de Barbosa, isn't to create big commercial districts, right? Like a gigantic one here or a gigantic one over there. The idea is to do this here, okay? I'm going to test this new formula of small regions or industrial neighborhoods, well spread out. So we have one here, I'll make one here, then one here. But all like this, really small, okay, with just a few blocks, and leave it well spread out to see if it makes logistics easier. But all right, let's go. I'll take a look at this intersection here, and it's really well done too, a trumpet intersection, right? It's a T, right? But it only gives access to one side, right? Just for this road. And I wanted this end here to provide access to this region that we just unlocked over there. It will need some adaptations. And I think this is the first major challenge in building things this way. Vanya, look, I can't delete this here anymore. Let's see, look, I can't erase it because, well, I think this was made with mods, right? Oh, that's a shame, man. And the game not letting me delete this is really messed up. Look, I can't update it. I can't do anything, unfortunately. So what I can do is, since I can't mess with this intersection, create another intersection here separately, right? On this part of the road up to here, I can make changes, so that's what it'll be. I'm going to try to stretch this as much as I can here, gain this space here to work, and then I'll make an intersection. Trumpet too. But over here, let's take a 2-lane road. Here it's one way, let's put it at 10 meters high. Okay, maybe a little less. 7.5. I think that's the 7.5. And I'm already going to choose here, look, more or less the angle that I want. This intersection, if it had the same angle as this other intersection, it would look visually nice, right? Maybe I'll do that because then I can connect this road with a little coastal road here running along this whole sea, right? And maybe connecting here to this avenue at the end. So that's going to be the plan to make sure it turns out really symmetrical. I'm going to take a dirt road and I'm going to create a construction site. They're nothing more than these zoning squares that help me make the roads at the same angle as the intersection. See, so that's it. Our crossing is going to be here. Look at that, right? Let's make it as far to the right as possible. To move a bit away from this intersection, we've made the crossing. This little construction site here can be removed. The next step after making this crossing at this angle, what you want is to take the opposite side of the entrance and extend it a little further. In this case, it's going to be here. Look, so if the entrance is this way, on the opposite side, I'm going to extend it a little more. Because this will be our ramp, you can start going down with this extension now. See, I'll lower it about 5 to 7 meters. It's right here, more or less. I'm going to use the continuous curve tool and I'm going to make a curve here and here. I'm already going to make a drop to 2.5 and then also go down here. When we made this little curve, it's pretty tight, right? Because we have little space here. I'll try to open it up a bit more, maybe bringing it a little more over here. That's good. Then I'll take the one-way road and make the accesses individually. I'll have this one go out that way and the other come in this way. There won't be much to do here, right? There's a small turnaround here. It isn't ideal, but since we can't remove it without a mod, it'll have to stay. On the other side, I bring this end down to the ground and 8.5% slope is great. This part here is what was created, here where it's not elevated. We can even update it to 2 lanes on each side so we can use this extra lane for the exit. So I'm gonna take the one-way single lane here and make the connection both ways. This entrance has a function here in the road service, which is to prevent the left turn here. Let's see, like this, we can try to fix it. Ah, this way it's good, so here too. All right, perfect. Now I can even open the additional lanes. For example, if 2 go here and it's receiving 1, there could be 3 on this side only, right? So I use the asymmetrical one here with 5 lanes and update it to make it consistent. Doing something here is fine, right? It got a little narrow here, kind of tight, but that's because we don't have the necessary space, that's all. If this gets too small, I'll update it and make a bigger one. When we buy the other lots, actually, I'm not buying another lot. Do you have any ideas? I have another monthly expense here of $18,000, right? Just to make a slightly bigger ramp. But, okay, the entrance is done here, and then we can start working on how this layout is going to be. I'm thinking about bringing this entrance over here to this middle part, and then bringing another avenue here horizontally. So a vertical entrance and a horizontal avenue. Let's see how that's going to look. Look, I'm going to extend a straight line here, curve it a bit over there, and then go straight again up to here. See? Then from here, we can cross one horizontally, okay? Now we have a ready base here to use this land. Now I'm going to connect this other side here for those who are in the city, right? You don't need to go out on the highway and go around. I imagine there would be a little road here making this connection. I'm even going to turn on the topography here and work at this level of the white contour line. Let's go. A straight line, a curve, here a small straight, another little curve. And then I keep going with straights and curves, and let's go around the whole coast and cross over. Right? We're already reaching the other side. This here is a kind of connection, right? That often happens on islands. Small roads and highways dividing neighborhoods. That's how it is in Floripa, right? The time I visited the island, I got around a lot like that by roads. All right, look, once the connection was made here, man, it turned out really natural, right? These curves here are really cool, and now I'm going to connect to this little horizontal road we have here. I think I'll even update it, right? After we get through here, this narrow part of the coast, we can update it and make it a 4-lane road. We're spending quite a bit of money here, on this project, but that's okay. We have to think of it as an investment, and we'll get it back. All right, it's done here. Just out of curiosity, I'm going to try to check the wind direction here. It's the wind, man. It's going to blow that pollution over there, so we can't have the city too close here, right? But that's fine. Let's start sketching a small industrial district. I'm going to place a roundabout here, and it can be a big one. Actually, I need to unlock the roundabout here. In development, it only costs 1 development point, so it's pretty cheap. I'll use it. This one seems to fit well with what we're aiming for here, so I'll make the internal streets here. My intention is to create a district inside a kind of roundabout, let's say, right? So I'm gonna make the edge of this roundabout here look more or less almost like a parallel to the road. A road will come in here and another will go out on the outside. Going back, look, something like this. So it's going to be this one here, right? The circuit is for our little industrial neighborhood right here in the middle. I'm going to take this shortcut, right? So there's a little entrance here, and at this entrance, we'll have a street cutting the district in half. Here, all right, this layout will stay like this, and it will be just for the industries. Let's see how this is going to behave. I'll already have to start separating, right? The district part, our island, as I create new neighborhoods, right? It'll be like this so we can access the statistics, right? Let's see how many jobs will be created around here. Let's add the industries here little by little, so we can see how much industry we need to place to meet all this demand, right? I forgot to bring water for our luck, didn't I? There's a sewage outlet right here next to it, and it can be connected here directly. It makes our job easier. Regarding the electricity, we just need to update it here with this new infrastructure on this road, right? So far, it's fine. Weird we still don't have water. Funny, when I did it outside, it worked. But here, look, we can see that the water isn't going through this path. Here, see, only sewage is passing through, even though there's a water pipe. Look, you can see there are little details here in blue, right? Which symbolize that water is passing through here. But then when it gets here, look, in this pipe, the water doesn't go through here. I'm not sure why, but the problem's solved. Let's keep expanding here so we can see if we can meet this industrial demand. We had to zone everything to meet demand, but it'll rise again. It always does, right? But the important thing is that we've already created, look, more than 1,000 jobs here. For a city with 12,000 inhabitants, that's a lot. And we have a new industrial neighborhood right over there. In the middle of that, I didn't zone it. I found a suitable space to have a plaza. I'm going to mark this block here and start planting trees in these empty spaces here. I think it's very important to have this type of vegetation here, since I'm using the native way of placing trees. So I can't put this big one everywhere, right? Carvalho, for example, here, it's really hard to fit, but wherever I can place it, I do. Well, I think it looks okay here with the vegetation, right? Covering the spaces here, and we bring a bit of trees to the streets, right? And they don't look so arid like that. After all, it's an industrial and pretty hostile architecture. We have a problem here with insufficient electricity, which makes me think that maybe it's a good idea for us to already plan something here as well, in this area, since we have space related to electricity. After all, for now, we're only relying on wind turbines, right? Which provide very little electricity, even though it's clean energy. And we have a small thermoelectric plant here, and I believe it can stay here in this region, right next to us for a while. Maybe with the transformer plant that we're required to have, right? This here is a transformer station, because it's where we're going to connect our power generation to the transformer that will distribute it to the rest of the city. The roads here, I think they're not up to date to handle underground wiring, right? This part here, yes, I did it, but these here, they have to go right here. I won't be able to update it, right? Because I can't do anything at this intersection, not even delete it. So I think we can also run some wiring from the turbines over here directly, right? You need to connect through this road. Maybe this road here will get overloaded. It's the only connection, right? Between this industrial area and the rest of the city. An alternative route here could be interesting. An underground route costs 5,000, while staying at ground level costs 2,700. It's not much different. I prefer it underground here. Just go from one side to the other, that's it. We connect both sides here by another route, by another path. And man, there's something else we need to worry about here, right? The problem is accumulated trash. There's already some here, some over there, and we don't have any landfill. Look, we solve one problem, another one comes up. Now there's a water shortage. Maybe I'll add another point here at the pumping station. Here they're overloaded, but there's an upgrade. We can improve things here by adding an extra pump, which significantly increases both consumption and distribution capacity. Let's try it on both to see if it works. But they also have built-up garbage. See, it worked. Now we need to solve the garbage issue. We have a bit more time here, but I'll add one more just to be safe. It's already got the extra pump and will also take care of the garbage problem. I'm considering putting a landfill here at the intersection, but it always pains me a bit to do it. But there's nothing we can do since the incineration plant costs $1 million and we don't have that in the bank. So let's make the landfill here in this space, right? Designated, and to determine here, look, a piece of land for waste disposal. I'm not going to put it right next to the road because I think it's a good idea to leave this small margin here for us. At least to plant some trees and hide it a little, right? Look, here we'll have the capacity to store 700 tons of garbage with a rate of 100 tons per month. We can set up a truck terminal at the collection point and add another recycling unit. This recycling unit is interesting because it will reduce soil pollution and also air pollution. So I'll go ahead and put it in right now so we don't have that pollution here. See, when we look at it, right, it's already huge. You can't build nearby and there's air pollution. The rest goes to the collection point. It will increase the processing capacity by 20 tons. So from 100, it goes to 120. I don't think trucks are necessary right now, right? He will add, as the name itself says, 10 more trucks we already have. 20 and all of them are circulating around the city. I don't think there's much need for that either. Now, we're also going to compensate for this landfill here with a landscaping project to create a counterpoint here. This isn't going to be used much, but it's just to make it look nice, okay? Another 700 tons of garbage ready to be stored here, and our city already has a demand for it. Already 513. Whoa, that's crazy. So maybe I'll put this waste collection point here, increase the processing capacity a bit, right? 1,400 jobs created. We're here with an unemployment rate of 6.7. That's very good. We already have 3 homeless people in the city. And look at the oil, right? Consumption is increasing even more. We won't be able to do it in this episode because the oil region is here, so we'll expand gradually over here. And this is an area that I don't want to be 100% industrial, okay? So I'm going to build some little villages here to symbolize, like a worker's village. But first I want to finish this center, so let's see if we can expand. Using the mixed buildings in the old European city style, which is what we were already using over here. Painting this block here basically already met almost all the demand. And I also need some affordable rent. I think I'll put it here, see, already partly up the mountain and starting the shift to the Eastern European suburb. This little suburb turned out great going up the mountain. It's colorful and matches well. So I'm going to put it here since our only high-density residential zoning option is affordable housing. I'll use this Eastern European one because it fits here. Actually, now that I look at it, I think I was wrong. Look, there's no demand. Not for high density, it's for medium. Well, the medium has already been supplied, right? It's growing here, and there's low density as well. Let's start building the little village here since there's no more room for suburbs. See, I said I'd do it. So we can extend an avenue from this roundabout and this avenue, right? It would provide access to the main avenue. From a small village here, look, in this part of this small peninsula, right? There's a small peninsula here. I don't think I'll even make a street here along this side because the intention is really to give it the look of a small village. So that's why I'm just going to make parallel streets. Maybe just add a few regular streets here, even with an alley, since I could connect a street from there to here too. And for the rest, add alleys everywhere. Maybe add a small pier here. Do you think that's possible? It looks good. It works. And let's build this small workers' village. The layout is simple. Well, I think it's good like this for now, right? Later we can expand more over here when we have some extra money to buy this piece of land. Here I'm going to use the beach house style too. I used it here. Look, this is a beach house style, see? This one uses the North American, specifically United States cheer style. I'll use the European style instead to make it different. We can already see it, right? There's this tension that there are parts of the city streets here, look, that aren't suitable for residential zoning, right? Because of how close they are to the factories, so I think it's a matter of them not even existing. To be honest with you, this is going to be an area that won't be affected by pollution, right? The pollution is coming from the other side, look, right? It's going that way, so it's going to be fine. Let's put some houses here, and look, the residential demand has already dropped. And let's put them. Let's take the opportunity to put a store here, so the people who live here don't have to go all the way to the other side just to buy some bread. Let's put a store, mainly here on the avenue. Let's see how it turns out. And I was thinking about the bike situation, right? As the houses grow here, do you think it's possible to put a bike lane on the road like here? Let's try this test, but I don't think it's possible. We couldn't do it. We'd have to make a manual one here on the side. The problem is dealing with this land thing, with the water here, near the water, in vanilla, man, it's a nightmare. We could try to connect both sides, right? Well, let's see, right? It doesn't hurt to try. I'll remove these trees from here so they don't get in my way. My goal is to create a very bike-friendly, bikeable island. It's important to connect both sides with the bike path. Let's go. I'll make a comparison here. This was much easier in City Zoom because when we did this here, there was a node here, right? A little node dot where I could make it really parallel. Exactly. Then I would come here and I would already drop. Whoa, I don't think it's going to work with this guy here. No, hold on. It's going to mess everything up. I'll have to do it with this one. Look, then I would do this one, and then I would make the curve and come to the other node here. So it would make a nice parallel curve, right? In Cities 2, there isn't a node here for me to know exactly the perfect curve, right? So you kind of have to eyeball it, but that's fine, right? Let's see what we can do. Look, it's already different here, see? The angle isn't right. I think maybe doing it with straight lines will be easier. Look, I come here, make this straight line, then I go to the next straight line. Which actually, man, there won't be any straight lines here. The next one is here, see? Then we'll have one here, and that's the plan, right? There will be some loose ends for us to connect everything here with these curves. See, it won't be perfect, but it's what we can do. Look, I can tell you, it's turning out really cool, you know? Surprising. At least there's already a path for pedestrians, so anyone can walk here. And here, look, I think we can put a dock because it's going to be really close to the water. Look, let's see how this would look, right, man? It sinks a lot here, right? It wasn't meant to be this way. We have to use this pattern here because I think it will even create a dock. I don't think it will sink much into the ground. This one sinks too, see? The issue is with this pattern here, the one I was using until now. It's kind of annoying when it comes to water. See, it won't let me place it here because of the water. So you have to place it really close to the road here so it doesn't touch the water. See? So, I won't be able to keep the dock. It's a shame, but in the end, we're wrapping up the bike lane here, right? And I think I'll bring this street up to here, right? And cross it over here. Look here, we can leave a looser design around here along the coast, and that's fine, okay? The inclusive bike lane will be completed here with the pedestrian path, and here it will be shared with the cars. So I'm going to update this street here as well to serve the whole village. As for the avenue, I think I'll leave it without the bike lane. I'll make some exits here too. Look, for those who want to ride a bike to the factory to work, there's one here. I'm going to skip this intersection, right? So there aren't too many intersections, too many crosswalks on a road that's actually a highway, right? Look, we can also make some exits here. It's even shaped like a park with some trees. Man, even though it's an industrial area. Just by adding this bike lane here, we can really improve the quality of life. The population really benefits from this kind of measure, right? So look, this integration of the bike lane with the streets is really cool. Did you guys like the connection from one side to the other? It turned out great, right? It's so organic and natural, isn't it? That's where I'll wrap up. This park fits perfectly here, and you could add health services too. Look, just a small one, this little firefighter set up here, and then, right, we're also going to need the infrastructure to store the bicycles. I had forgotten about that. A bike rack here, look. Leave one right here, and I think another one up ahead would be good too, like this A real bike shelter. All right, are you served, man? This little village setup looks nice, doesn't it? I really liked it, actually. And I really like this connection here. Look, the little road here at the foot of the hill between the mountain and the ocean. What did you think? There are already so many people walking around, right? There's an animal, maybe a bear, horse, or moose, I'm not sure. Crossing the highway there, and a lot of people walking. A lot of people coming and going by bike. These people are probably going to work. No, this one is shopping, that one is heading home. Maybe they're arriving at the port, right? And then they just walk. Some of them go by bike. Wow, there's a moose here. This is a moose. It's a moose going to take a swim in the sea. I wanted to see what it's like to follow these guys making this crossing by bike. We don't have mods, so we can't see it in first person, but we can get very close like this. Hey, riding a scooter is cool, huh? Well, I'm going to end the episode here. I think it was really worthwhile. We built industry, we made a little village over there with housing, with commerce, infrastructure here, with bikes, with roads. So a packed episode for you all. I'm really enjoying recording this series. Vanilla, the game is fun to play and the city is still small. I haven't gotten frustrated yet, but that's a good thing. I want to thank our deputy mayors, Refugio 21 Pedro Mendez, Nagal, Jose Fernandez, and Giovanni Eta. Look, there's an accident on the bike lane. The guy is turning back, see that? During the credits, Bicho said, "Hey, I'm leaving. There was an accident on the bike lane with a delivery van. People are arriving but can't get through and are giving up. Now we just have to wait for the rescue to arrive, right?" And as I was saying, thanks to Giovanni and also thanks to our secretaries, their names are appearing now, and like the deputy mayors, they'll get early access to this episode. And to Bruto, uncut, unedited. And I also want to thank all the counselors, right? Who are the foundation, the pillar of this channel, and are making it possible for it to get better and better for everyone who watches. The members and non-members, and the non-members who help by liking, sharing, subscribing. Those deserve my heartfelt thanks, my strongest hug, and see you next time. Then he said, go, rescue, go against the traffic, go. You don't have to stay stuck in traffic, man.